It started with a dream. A clear, vivid dream that I could never quite shake off. I was a child again, wandering through a desolate forest, the trees towering over me like silent sentinels. The air smelled of decay, and the darkness it seemed to blow in from all sides. There, in the center of a clearing, was a figure. It was tall, skeletal, and impossibly still. Its eyes were hollow and did not blink. They cut into me with an intensity that left me paralyzed. When I woke, drenched in sweat, I knew that shadow was a part of me. It always had been. I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder when I was 17. My emotions were a whirlwind, a chaotic storm that left destruction in its wake. Schizophrenia personality disorder followed not long after. That added a layer of paranoia and odd beliefs that kept me isolated. But it was my psychotic disorder that truly set me apart. My reality was a shifting view of delusions and hallucinations, each more twisted than the last. I learned to hide it well, to present a mask of a normal man to the world. But inside, the darkness grew. I remember the first time I acted on my impulses. Her name was Sarah. She was a bright, bubbly girl who worked at the coffee shop I frequented. She was always kind to me, always smiling. That smile, it haunted me. It mocked me. I began to watch her, to study her routines. It wasn't long before I knew everything about her. Where she lived, when she left for work, even the route she took home at night. It was a rainy evening when I made my move. She was walking home. The umbrella shielded her from the downpour, blissfully unaware of the predator lurking in the shadows. I followed her, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and exhilaration. When I finally made my move, it was swift and brutal. The knife felt foreign in my hand, but the sensation of it slicing through flesh was intoxicating. I took her to an abandoned building on the outskirts of town, a place I had prepared thoroughly. The days that followed were a mix of blood and screams. I had never felt more alive. Her terror was a symphony to my ears, her pain a masterpiece. I became obsessed with control, with the power I held over her. When it was over, I felt a sense of emptiness, a void that grew with each passing day. I knew then that this was my purpose, my calling. I refined my methods and sharpened my skills. Each new victim became my canvas. Each kill was my work of art. I was careful and meticulous. I studied forensic science and learned how to avoid detection. My fascination with death grew, fueled by the gruesome trophies I collected from each victim. Their fear was my potion. Their suffering became my pleasure. But it was never enough. The void inside me was insatiable, like a black hole that consumed everything in its path. My mind left me, the hallucinations became more vivid, more intrusive. The shadow from my dream appeared often, whispering dark promises in my ear. I began to see my victims even after they were gone, their hollow eyes accusing me from the shadows. My downfall came quickly, like a predator attacking its prey. I had grown careless and overconfident. The police were closing in. The evidence started mounting against me. I knew it was only a matter of time before they caught me. But the thought of stopping, of giving up my dark pleasures, was insane. The last night of my freedom, I went to the forest from my dream. The air was thick with the smell of decay, the darkness blowing in from all sides. I stood in the clearing waiting. The shadow appeared, as it always did, but this time it was different. It spoke to me. Its voice was a haunting sound in my mind. It told me that I had fulfilled my purpose, that it was time to embrace the darkness fully. When the police found me, I was covered in blood. My latest victim was in front of me, lying lifeless at my feet. I didn't resist. There was no point. My story was over, but the darkness within me remained, a silent protector watching over me as I dropped into madness. In the end, we are all shadows, lurking in the corner of our minds, waiting for the right moment to emerge. My story is not unique. There are others like me, hidden in plain sight, their darkness coming up just beneath the surface. So next time you walk alone at night, remember this: the real monsters are the ones we can't escape, the ones within ourselves.